What's up guys, I'm J-Man, and let's go back to an old classic, The Count of Monte Cristo. Released back in 2002, the film received mixed reviews, with some thinking that it was wildly inaccurate to the book, and some perceived it as just kind of a generic action-adventure flick about betrayal, revenge, and ultimately, redemption. However, once you really look at it, this movie is not just about the journey of one man who loses everything he holds dear and plotting revenge against those who took it. It's also about him and the rest of the characters' concern about how they look and are perceived by society as a whole. In other words, the theme of the movie is vanity. The original book was written by Alexandre Dumas and takes place during a time period where, according to the upper class, image and reputation was everything. According to Dictionary.com, the definition of vanity is excessive pride in one's appearance, qualities, abilities, achievements, etc. However, another definition is lack of real value, or hollowness, or worthlessness. Often in certain stories about a clash of the classes, the antagonists usually consist of rich or high political people who worry about how they look, because upper class means having power, and power means a big ego. Even in classic literature, this was a common trope used as well. In Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Jane Bennet says, "Vanity and pride are different things, though the words are often used synonymously. A person may be proud without being vain. Pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves, vanity to what we would have others think of us." In The Count of Monte Cristo, vanity is what drives the story. The characters are so consumed by their own image and reputation in society in order to get what they want, which could be seen as a commentary on how the rich and powerful all have their own dirty laundry in a way. At the beginning, when Edmond and Fernand land on Elba to save the captain, Danglars, the ship's first mate, apparently ordered against it. He says it was to protect the ship's cargo, but really what he wanted was for the captain to hopefully die so that he can become captain himself. To him, being captain and having his own ship means the highest vanity there is. When he loses it to Edmond, he lies to the authorities and has him arrested for treason after hearing of his supposed espionage with Napoleon. After Edmond is sent away, it's even established that he talked Morel into partnering up with him, only to force Morel out and take over the company himself. He's the type of character who manipulates his way to the top without having to do any actual work or earning it for himself. Villefort, as Edmond says, is an ambitious civil servant who wants the title of chief prosecutor. He's the type of corrupt politician who will do anything to achieve it, even if it means eliminating the obstacles, in this case, Bonapartists. However, he's unable to get his hands dirty because of his position. Once he hears about Edmond's correspondence with his father, who is not only a good friend of Napoleon, but a soldier in his army, he destroys the evidence, hires Fernand to kill his own father, and sends Edmond to Chateau d'If. He's so consumed by his own need for vanity that he has no morals about expunging the innocent, even his own family. You could also say that it's a societal pressure too, because during that time period, if one member of your family was considered low in standard, it's basically a bad penny for the whole family. It's likely he's not even interested in being chief prosecutor for justice, but rather for his own personal gain. While the other characters try to cheat the system to achieve vanity, Fernand's character is more of entitlement of stature. First, he's consumed by his own jealousy of Edmond. Edmond is uneducated, has no money, and lives in a poor household, and yet, somehow, he's still richer than Fernand. He has a lovely girl, he gains his own ship. Mercedes even tells a story of how on their birthdays when Fernand got a new pony and Edmond a new whistle, Edmond was happier with his gift, making Fernand more upset, showing that Edmond knows how to value the little things and cares nothing of vanity, whereas Fernand was raised to think that vanity is all you are. It drives him to the point where he actually betrays his friend, first by reading Napoleon's letter, then by revealing it to Danglars and Villefort, thus sending him off to the worst prison ever, After Edmond returns and becomes the Count of Monte Cristo, he exacts revenge by literally removing all of Fernand's vanity, taking away all his money, his wife and son, and exposes his crimes, making him a criminal. There's a scene towards the end where he angrily breaks a mirror. This is a visual representation of how his whole life has been shattered, since a mirror is usually a symbol for vanity. Just before the final duel, he tries to run off but suddenly stops, realizing that he has nowhere to go. He has no money, his title has been disgraced, he has nothing left, which means he has nothing left to lose. Mercedes' vanity is more of a societal pressure more than anything, not necessarily for selfish reasons, since women at the time were not allowed to have children before marriage. She doesn't really gain it for herself, but rather to provide a good life for her child. At first viewing, when she reads the letter from Villefort, we obviously sense that she is sad because she will never see her beloved Edmond again. But on second viewing, we realize that that's only half of it. She also fears for herself and for her son. She marries Fernand not because she loves him, but rather that he provides an easy way out. He provides a better life for them. As we later find out, her vanity among Paris is of ridicule since she is now married to a philandering adulterer. Even though it's not actually part of the film, it is worth noting that in a deleted scene, she reveals that she cares nothing of her reputation among the populace, but more about the well-being of her son. So she forces Fernand to make sure that word of his affairs never reaches the ears of their son Albert, thus maintaining his happiness and keeping him from being ashamed of himself and his family. So as mentioned at the beginning, Edmond cares nothing of vanity. Much like Jack Dawson from Titanic, he's the type of free spirit who lets life come to him. Even if he is uneducated, he still has a steady job, a proud father, and the love of his life. And in one fell swoop, it's all taken from him, so he sets out to achieve the image of vanity. He locates riches beyond limit, buys a new mansion, servants, but most of all, he forges a new title as the Count of Monte Cristo. He becomes so consumed by his own revenge that he can't see in front of him all that he has missed from his absence from the world. In a way, he arguably becomes just as bad, if not worse, than his enemies, because he's grown to be a smart, manipulative, calculating man who puts on a show for those around him, but deep down hates them with a passion. He literally becomes his own villain in a way. During the scene in the carriage with Jacopo, he threatens to finish him off like he would have when they first met. But Jacopo can see right through the facade and doesn't buy it.
Take the money, take the woman, and live your life. Stop this plan. Take what you have won.
I can't.
Why not?
When he makes that speech at Albert's birthday celebration, he plays with his hair like he used to, which Mercedes notices. Soon, once he has put away Danglars and Villefort, he has a scene with Mercedes where she points out an error he made in lying to her, showing that his own arrogance is becoming his downfall and the mask is starting to slip. Eventually, he can't deny his feelings for her still remain. However, he doesn't change his plans of revenge, he merely alters them in a way. It isn't until towards the end, when the truth is revealed about Albert being his son, that he finally drops the facade and becomes his real self again. He realizes that there's a lot more at stake concerning his own family that he didn't even know he had. When he fights Fernand, it's no longer out of revenge. He's fighting the last part of himself that has made him vengeful and putting his hate to rest, essentially battling his own vanity, as it were. By the end, he makes a vow to his old mentor that he's going to take what he has gained and use it to help others.
All that was used for vengeance will now be used for good.
So those are my thoughts on the Count of Monte Cristo. What do you guys think? Whatever it is, don't be shy, leave a reply. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and please support me on Patreon. All links are down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the J-Man. Keep looking deep.